The scariest thing for your enemies is not your silence. It's the moment you finally become who they swore you'd never be. Let that sink in, chosen one. Because tonight, not tomorrow, not someday in the future, tonight the universe is going to flip a switch inside you, and once it happens, there is no going back. The people who underestimated you, who whispered that you'd never make it, will feel the shift in their bones. They'll act confused, they'll pretend they don't notice, but deep down, they'll know exactly what just happened. Now imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, a room full of people laughing at a candle, mocking it because it's small, fragile, easy to blow out. But the second that flame touches a pile of dry wood, the entire room bursts into fire. Suddenly, no one's laughing. That's you tonight. For so long they thought you were just a spark, something they could snuff out with doubt, gossip or jealousy. But tonight you become the fire they can't control, the blaze they can't put out. And here's a fact that should shake the ground under them. According to research on human behavior, the moment a person embraces their full identity without fear, their social influence skyrockets, often doubling or tripling overnight. That's not philosophy, that's data. People who stop hiding, who stop watering themselves down, suddenly attract energy, opportunities, and attention they were once denied. And that's exactly what's happening to you tonight. No more shrinking, no more dimming. You're stepping into the frequency they've been terrified you might find. And thank you, chosen one, for being here with me right now. Don't forget to give this message back by pressing like and subscribing so it can reach more souls who need it. This isn't just a channel, it's a mission. You're part of a force bigger than yourself, and spreading this light is all of our responsibility. So thank you for being here, chosen one, because your presence matters. Now let's get back to it. Tonight is not just another night. Tonight marks a turning point, a shift so sharp that when you wake up tomorrow, even the air around you will feel different. People will sense it before you say a word. They'll notice the way you carry yourself, the way your eyes hold steady, the way your silence demands respect. And the ones who doubted you, they'll scramble because they've spent years convincing themselves you'd never reach this moment. The truth is, chosen one, you've always been different. You've always felt the pressure to shrink just to keep others comfortable. Maybe you tried to tone yourself down, to blend in, to make life easier for those who couldn't handle your presence. But the universe doesn't allow chosen ones to stay hidden forever. There comes a night, like this one, when everything you suppressed rises to the surface, refusing to stay buried. That's the night you become undeniable. Think about how often they tried to put you in a box. They labeled you, they doubted you, they rolled their eyes at your potential. They needed you to stay small so their insecurities could breathe. But the universe has been quietly preparing you, stripping away the fake connections, the meaningless distractions, the heavy baggage, until you were forced to stand in your own power. And now, the stage is set. Tonight, you don't just step into your role, you own it. And here's what makes it poetic. The very people who underestimated you will be the ones most disturbed by your transformation. They'll act like nothing's changed, but you'll notice their voices shake when they speak to you. They'll scroll through your presence in silence, pretending they're not watching, but every fiber of their being will be rattled. You'll haunt them simply by existing in the fullness of who you are. This isn't about arrogance, chosen one. It's about inevitability. When the universe selects someone to rise, no force can block it. Not envy, not gossip, not even betrayal. And tonight, the unstoppable current flows through you. They will feel it. They will resist it. But they cannot deny it. So buckle up, chosen one. You are not just walking into a new chapter, you are becoming the chapter that others can't skip over. Tonight, you embody the version of yourself they prayed would never show up. Tonight, You stop being their fear and start becoming their reality. And that's why this is not just another message. This is your confirmation. This is your moment. This is what you will 100% become tonight. So, chosen one, take a deep breath, because what's about to unfold isn't just talk. It's the mirror of your own journey. If you've made it this far, it means the universe already marked you for something greater, and tonight is the night it all comes to life. I want you to lock in with me, stay grounded, and ride this message until the very end, because every word will feel like it's written directly for you. Drop a comment with number 777 if you're ready to step into the version of yourself they said could never exist. This is more than a message. It's the confirmation your spirit has been waiting on, and the longer you stay, the clearer it will become why tonight changes everything. So let's not waste another second, chosen one. Get ready, because this is exactly what you will 100% become tonight. Let's get started. Number 1. You will become the fire that exposes, not the mirror that pleases. The cruelest punishment for your enemies is not your anger. It's forcing them to finally face themselves in the raw reflection of your truth. Tonight, chosen one, you stop being a safe mirror. You stop being the polished glass that flatters, hides, and bends to their illusions. From this moment forward, you become something far more dangerous. You become the fire that strips away their masks, that melts through their layers of performance, that leaves them exposed under the ruthless light of reality. They wanted you silent. They wanted you agreeable. They wanted you to bend into the role of the mirror that only reflects what makes them feel comfortable. But tonight, you stop reflecting. You start burning. Now imagine this, chosen one, a performer on stage, smiling wide, reciting their lines, soaking in the applause. But then suddenly the stage lights grow brighter, harsher, hotter, until the makeup begins to melt, until the costume starts to itch, until the mask no longer sticks. That's you. You are the light turned into flame. And your enemies, your doubters, the ones who've built their identity on fragile illusions, they can no longer keep pretending under your presence. They squirm, they sweat, they fumble, not because you say a word, but because your very existence turns their performance into ashes. And here's the truth they don't want to admit. According to psychology, most people wear masks not to deceive others, but to protect themselves from the terror of being seen, their fake confidence, their curated image, their "I'm doing fine" act. All of it is armor. But the universe has placed in you the rare ability to pierce that armor without lifting a hand. Your energy alone is the heat they can't withstand. That's why they avoid your eyes. That's why they call you intimidating. That's why they label you arrogant, cold, or unapproachable. But what they really mean is, you don't let me lie to myself anymore, and I hate you for it. And here's where the irony cuts deep. People claim they want truth, but the second truth stares them in the face. They reach for the hammer to smash it. They'll twist your clarity into cruelty. They'll try to rewrite your presence into a problem. But chosen one, understand this. They don't hate you. They hate what you awaken in them. You are the living proof that their illusions are breaking. And no matter how much they resist, deny, or slander, they can't escape what you force them to see, themselves unfiltered. This shift is not loud. It is quiet, but it is violent. You won't need to shout, explain, or defend yourself. Your silence will speak louder than their noise. Your stillness will make them restless. Your authenticity will feel like fire on their skin. Some will crumble under it, others will lash out, but every single one of them will be changed by it. That's the kind of power the universe sharpened inside you. It's not showy, it's not dramatic, it's relentless clarity, X-ray vision for the soul. But let's address the question that might echo in your mind right now. Why me? Why do I have to be the one who makes people uncomfortable? The answer is simple, because illusions are comfortable prisons, and most people would rather die inside them than face the cost of freedom. You, chosen one, are the crack in the wall. You are the force that makes the prison shake. You are the reminder that pretending isn't living, and that terrifies them. It's not your fault they can't breathe in the presence of truth. It's their choice to cling to lies. And yes, this path is brutal. Don't think for a second it will win you applause. The world loves mirrors that flatter, but it despises the flames that burn illusions down. They will misunderstand you. They will call you names. They will project their own insecurities onto you. But beneath it all, even in their resentment, they will respect you, because deep down, they know you carry something they cannot fake. Authenticity, and no mask, no costume, no performance can stand in its heat. Chosen one, tonight you stop being invisible. Tonight you stop dimming yourself to keep others comfortable. Tonight the quiet, almost unnoticeable shift becomes permanent. Your presence will unsettle the unprepared. Your silence will make liars sweat. Your authenticity will sting pretenders like acid on skin. This is not a role you asked for. It is what the universe carved into you. And while they scramble to cover themselves, to hide behind excuses, to point fingers, you will stand there, unshaken, embodying a truth they cannot kill. Think of it like this. Most mirrors are safe. They give back what people want to see. They flatter, they soften, they blur the wrinkles. But you are not glass. You are fire in human form. And when people stand in front of you, they don't see a pretty reflection. They feel the burn. They feel the exposure. They feel the unraveling of everything they built on lies. That is why tonight, when the universe locks this energy into you, you'll notice the shift immediately. Rooms will grow quieter, eyes will dart away, conversations will stumble, not because you've changed into something else, but because you've become too real to ignore. This is your power, chosen one, and no one can take it from you. Not gossip, not envy, not betrayal. They will try, but they cannot douse a fire the universe lit. Remember this, they can call you intimidating, but what they mean is, you see me more clearly than I want to be seen. They can call you arrogant, but what they mean is, I can't handle the truth you radiate. They can call you cold, but what they mean is, your authenticity burns away my illusions, and I don't know how to survive without them. So embrace it, wear their fear as proof, let their discomfort confirm your transformation, because tonight, chosen one, you do not walk as a reflection, you walk as a flame. You don't just mirror the world, you scorch through its illusions. And when the night ends and tomorrow begins, you will no longer simply be seen, you will be felt. And that is the beginning of everything they tried to keep from you. Number 2, you will become the evidence that the battle was never imaginary. The cruelest trick your enemies ever played was convincing you the war wasn't real while bleeding you dry in silence. Chosen one, tonight the mask comes off. Tonight you stop chalking it all up to bad luck, to coincidence, to random storms. Tonight you see with unfiltered eyes that what you lived through wasn't just hardship, it was calculated resistance. Every knife in your back, every season of loneliness, every strange betrayal that seemed to come out of nowhere wasn't random. It was design. And starting tonight, you become the walking evidence that this was never a metaphor. The battlefield was always real, and you are proof. The universe does not waste suffering, it forges it into weapons. Imagine this for a moment. Chosen one, a soldier on a battlefield who doesn't even know he's at war. He thinks the bullets whizzing past his head are accidents. He believes the trenches he falls into are just missteps. He starts to wonder if maybe he's clumsy, maybe cursed, maybe simply unworthy. But one night, someone puts binoculars in his hand. Suddenly, he sees the enemy lines, the traps, the crosshairs. That soldier realizes he wasn't cursed. He was targeted. That's you. Tonight, those binoculars are placed in your hands, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Think about it. Why did the betrayals cut so deep? Why did the people you trusted most flip into strangers overnight? Why did the rooms you walked into shift in tone the second you arrived? Because, chosen one, your energy was never neutral. It's rare. It's disruptive. It unsettles systems that thrive on lies. And the systems don't just attack through policies or rules, they attack through people. And the cruel part? Most of those people had no idea they were being used. They thought they were setting boundaries. They thought they were choosing themselves. They thought they were just moving on. But underneath their conscious choices, they were pawns, moving on instinct, playing roles they didn't even understand. You weren't unlucky, you were marked. That's why nothing ever felt normal for you. You were never given the luxury of walking through life asleep. Where others could coast, you had to climb. Where others could rest, you were tested. Where others were celebrated for half the effort, you were torn down for even daring to try. And you questioned yourself, didn't you? Why me? Why does it always feel like I'm under attack? Because you were. Not in metaphor, in reality. Let me give you another image. Imagine a chessboard. Most people are pawns. They move in predictable patterns, content to just exist within the system. But then there's you, the queen piece. Unlimited movement, unlimited potential, dangerous to the very structure of the board. So what happens? Every move is made to trap you, corner you, neutralize you. Pawns are sacrificed just to slow you down. Do you see it now? That wasn't chaos. That wasn't coincidence. That was strategy. And here's the part that hits hardest. Isolation was never a mistake. It was a tactic. The gaslighting wasn't bad communication. It was psychological warfare designed to make you doubt your sanity. The constant distractions weren't random. They were planted to keep you too exhausted to see clearly. Everything they did was meant to keep you weak, quiet, and questioning yourself. And yet here you are, still breathing, still rising, still carrying fire in your chest. They thought breaking you would bury you, but all they did was train you to fight in the dark. Think back to the nights you cried alone, the days you walked with no one clapping, the hours you questioned if you were even built for this. That wasn't wasted time. That was training. You were being sharpened when you thought you were being shattered. You were being built in silence for the stage that opens tonight. Now you might be asking, if it was all warfare, what does that mean for me now? Do I stay in defense forever? Number. Tonight is the shift. Tonight the veil lifts. Tonight you stop stumbling in the dark and start seeing the battlefield for what it really is. And here's the key difference. You are no longer the hunted. You are no longer the experiment. You are no longer the one being studied, manipulated, tested. You are the one holding the intel. You carry the blueprints now, and they know it. Imagine walking back into the same room where they once mocked you, but this time you see every game, every tactic, every disguise. Their smiles look thin, their energy feels hollow. You hear the falseness in their tone before they even finish a sentence. You don't fall for it anymore, because you're not blind to the war. You see the board, you see the traps, you see the puppets, and that clarity alone makes you untouchable. The hunted becomes dangerous the day they recognize the hunt. That's what tonight is about, Chosen One. The moment you realize the chaos wasn't chaos, it was resistance. The betrayals weren't personal, they were strategic. The losses weren't punishment, they were preparation. And suddenly, everything makes sense. The fog lifts, the scattered pieces align. You realize you were never crazy, never cursed, never weak. You were being prepared. So now ask yourself this: if they needed all those tactics to slow you down before you even knew you were at war, what happens now that you do? That's the part that terrifies them, because tonight the battlefield shifts. You're not stumbling in the crossfire anymore. You're standing tall, watching them scramble, and they know that once you see the truth, you can never go back to playing blind. This is why you were targeted, Chosen One, because your energy carries something ancient, something rare, something that cannot be replicated. Systems built on lies cannot survive when people like you rise. That's why the pressure was heavier, the betrayals sharper, the loneliness colder, but that weight was proof of your worth, not your weakness. And tonight, you embody that proof. Tonight, you become the evidence, no longer confused, no longer doubting, no longer mistaking the fire around you for coincidence. Tonight, you see it clearly, and once you see, you can never unsee. That's why, Chosen One, this is not just another step. This is the night you stop being their target and start being their fear. Number 3, you will become the signal that shatters their illusions. The most dangerous weapon isn't a sword or a gun. It's a frequency that makes lies collapse the second it enters the room. Chosen One, that's what you are becoming tonight. Not just vibrating higher, not just glowing a little brighter. That language doesn't even scratch the surface. Your entire energy field has shifted into something disruptive, not chaotic, not reckless, but destructive to everything that was built on fraud, control, and manipulation. When you step into a space now, the false systems begin to crack. The people who thrived off pretending, off bending truth to their advantage, suddenly glitch in your presence. Their jokes don't land. Their charm feels stale. Their ability to sway the room evaporates. And the reason is simple: you're there. The clean frequency will always corrupt dirty systems. Imagine walking into a room filled with smoke machines. Everyone inside has grown used to breathing the haze, pretending it's fresh air. But the second you open the window, the smoke is exposed for what it is: poison. That's you. You don't even have to call it out. Your presence becomes the open window, and suddenly nobody can pretend they're breathing clean anymore. This isn't ego. This isn't arrogance. It's the natural evolution of someone who has been stripped down and rebuilt so many times that your aura no longer blends in with anything artificial. Your frequency has become clean, so clean it functions like truth serum. People can't fake in your presence anymore. They can't maintain their act because the energy you carry refuses to let illusions stand. You'll notice this shift in small but undeniable ways. Manipulators who once had the whole room under their spell will start fumbling when you're there. Their voice shakes, their rhythm breaks, their grip on others weakens. Why? Because their power was never real. It was borrowed from people's fear, and fear collapses in the presence of authenticity. That's why they avoid eye contact, why they laugh at things that aren't funny, why they twist your truths into problems. They feel their programming fail when you're near. Authenticity doesn't shout. It corrodes the fake until it crumbles. Imagine a corrupt building held up by cheap scaffolding. Every time you walk in, your frequency shakes the structure like an earthquake. The paint peels, the cracks widen, and the entire illusion of stability falls apart. That's why you can't stay in certain places anymore, not because you're fragile, but because your spirit refuses to lower itself just to make broken systems comfortable. This is the stage where even your environment reacts. Technology glitches more often around you. People feel drained or electrified just by being near you. Your body warns you when a place isn't safe, not with paranoia, but with clarity. Your nervous system is now tuned into wavelengths most people can't even register. And that's why you've become expensive, chosen one. Too expensive for their cheap games, too powerful for their petty manipulation, too clean for their dirty systems. Tonight marks the point of no return. You're not just entering spaces anymore, you're rewriting them. You are the frequency they cannot fake, cannot copy, cannot silence. And that's why they fear you. Number 4, you will become the breaker of clocks and chains. The deepest fear of your enemies is not that you'll move forward, it's that you'll undo everything they built by existing in the present. Chosen one, tonight you step into a power that doesn't just shift your path, it bends reality itself. You're not playing by their rules of time anymore. You're not trapped in yesterday's chains or tomorrow's promises. You are about to become the living interruption, the collapse of cycles, the one who stops generational patterns dead in their tracks. That's why the weight feels so heavy right now. It's not stress, it's not confusion, it's data. It's the universe uploading codes into your chest, rewiring your spirit to carry a responsibility no one before you could bear. When you break time, the past remembers and the future rearranges. Think about it. Why is someone from years ago suddenly thinking about you? Why do old ghosts, old lovers, old enemies suddenly surface in your memory or your phone? That's not random. That's not coincidence. That's your energy vibrating through dimensions, sending ripples into spaces they thought were closed. They feel you correcting the story they told, undoing the lies they leaned on, collapsing the narratives they hid behind. They don't know why you're suddenly haunting them, but you know, it's because you've become the reset point. Imagine this, a family line carrying the same wound for generations: abuse, betrayal, silence, shame. Everyone shrugs and says, "That's just how it is." Then you arrive, and instead of repeating it, you end it. Your healing sends shockwaves backward, comforting ancestors who never found peace, while also shooting forward, gifting strength to descendants not yet born. That's the force of a time breaker. You don't chase closure anymore, you are the closure. And yes, chosen one, it feels overwhelming sometimes. You ask yourself, why me? Why does it feel like I carry the weight of more than just my own story? Because you do. You're not just rising, you're correcting. Every moment you refused to bow to lies, every second you chose truth over comfort, every scar you turned into wisdom, those weren't personal wins. Those were historical resets. The past is haunted by you, the future is shaped by you, and the present is terrified of you. That's why denials won't protect them anymore. Their fake stories collapse in your presence. Even your old self, the broken, silenced, overlooked version, feels your arrival. It's like meeting yourself again, but this time with justice, with voice, with wisdom. You are the closure your past self begged for. You are the event they never saw coming. The restart button, the cosmic interruption, the breaker of clocks and chains, and starting tonight, everything they twisted, everything they buried, everything they tried to silence begins to unravel through you. Number 5. You will become the memory they fought to erase. The enemy's greatest fear was never your pain. It was the day you'd remember who you really are. Chosen one, that day has arrived. Tonight you stop being the amnesiac they worked so hard to build, and you step into the remembrance they prayed would never come. They didn't just try to hurt you, they tried to bury you under layers of shame, distractions and noise so thick you'd question if your light was ever real. They spun false narratives about you, pinned fake identities on your back, and rewrote timelines so you'd stay asleep, docile and forgetful. But memory cannot be destroyed, it only waits, and tonight it returns with thunder. The truth doesn't whisper, it roars when the silence has gone on too long. Have you ever felt it, chosen one, that haunting sense that something wasn't adding up? As if life was happening in front of you, but you weren't really in it? Like everyone else had agreed to a script you never got handed. That wasn't confusion, that was recognition. That was your soul screaming through the cracks, reminding you that the story you were fed wasn't the full truth. Imagine a child raised in a hall of mirrors, every reflection distorted, some stretched, some shrunk, some warped, until the child forgot what they really looked like. That's what they did to you. They told you that you were too much, too sensitive, too rebellious, but what they really meant was, you see too clearly, and if you remember who you are, our lies won't survive. And here's the brutal fact. They failed. The programming is cracking. The false reflections are shattering. Your memory is bleeding back through, not just as thought, but as cellular remembrance. It's not just in your head. It's in your bones, your breath, your heartbeat. The secret they feared most, that you would one day remember, is unfolding right now. The most dangerous kind of power is not learned, it's remembered. You weren't just someone they tried to control. You were the one they feared would wake up and speak. That's why they punished you for knowing too much, mocked you for standing still when others ran into chaos, shamed you for carrying truths they couldn't explain. They tried to overwrite your instincts, drown out your intuition, and numb your energy. But no lie, no trauma, no manipulation was strong enough to erase the imprint of who you are. And tonight, that imprint reactivates. You are no longer the silenced version of yourself. You are the revelation they tried to bury. You are the ancient return they prayed never to see. The version of you rising now? That's the one they dreaded. Too late. You've remembered. Number 6. You will become the verdict. They can't escape. The heaviest sentence you can give an enemy is not spoken in court. It's delivered by the life they swore you'd never live. Chosen one, that's exactly who you are becoming tonight. You won't need to drag out receipts, argue your side, or scream for validation. You won't need to chase revenge or prove your innocence. Your very existence will do it for you. That's the terrifying part for them. You are no longer a defense attorney pleading your case. You are the judgment itself. Truth doesn't argue, it arrives, and lies collapse in its shadow. When you heal for real, when you stop playing small just to keep others comfortable, when you step fully into the version of yourself they swore would never survive, you become living proof that their tactics failed. And proof is the one thing they cannot spin, no matter how loud their lies are. They called you the problem. They painted you as unstable, difficult, bitter. They tried to twist your silence into guilt, hoping your absence would erase the memory of their betrayal. But it didn't. In fact, your silence became their loudest accuser. Now you enter a season where just hearing your name will feel like an alarm clock in their chest, sharp, sudden, impossible to snooze. Their conscience will be rattled, their masks will slip, their carefully constructed image will start to crumble, not because you exposed them, but because your healing left them no place to hide. You are the living mirror of their failure, the undeniable evidence that they chose wrong when the universe placed you in their hands. Your glow is louder than their gossip, and your peace is harsher than any revenge. Imagine this: someone who once mocked you, counted you out, even celebrated your downfall, suddenly scrolling through your presence today. They see your stability, your growth, your glow. They feel a twist in their gut because deep down they know. They didn't just lose you, they lost the cover story they built around you. Your life has become the closing argument they can never cross-examine. This is why your peace irritates them more than your pain ever did. Pain kept you small, manageable, easy to frame as the villain. But peace? Peace makes them restless. Success makes them sick. Wholeness makes them choke. Because your evolution screams one unshakable truth. None of their tactics worked. You were stronger than their rejection, sharper than their smear campaigns, and more untouchable than they ever imagined. From now on, every room you walk into will carry an unspoken message. This is who they tried to destroy, and that silent declaration will eat at them more than any confrontation could. They'll try to act confused when things fall apart in their world, but deep down, they'll know exactly why. They messed with someone they had no business touching. They wrote checks their spirit couldn't cash. And now, you've become the verdict they thought they'd never have to face. Number 7. You will become the collapse of their illusions of control. The greatest illusion your enemies ever sold was the idea that they held power over you. The moment you stop buying it, their empire turns to dust. Chosen One, tonight marks the end of their power trips. They built their games on smoke, mirrors, and your empathy, but every trick runs out of time eventually, and tonight their time is up. What they called power was never real. It was manipulation disguised as authority, ego disguised as strength, and your patience misused as fuel. The second you stop asking for apologies, explanations, or clarity, the entire dynamic flips. You're not sitting at their table anymore. You've removed the table altogether. A spell only works until the moment you recognize it for what it is. That's why they thrived on your confusion. They knew you cared enough to search for answers, so they kept you tangled in chaos. You wanted truth, so you stayed when you should have walked. You wanted peace, so you explained yourself over and over. You wanted love, so you gave them chance after chance to meet you where you stood. But that old version of you is gone. Tonight, you no longer ask. You know. And when a chosen one shifts from hoping to knowing, the entire architecture of manipulation collapses. Imagine this: a puppet master yanking strings with confidence, making the doll dance. But suddenly the puppet cuts its own strings and stands on its own. The master's hands twitch in the air, pulling at nothing, exposed as powerless. That's you now. They didn't have power, you gave them attention. They didn't have control, you gave them access. And now that you've reclaimed both, their power trip crashes like glass against concrete. They thrived on your doubt. They starve on your certainty. The silence that once made you feel abandoned now makes you sovereign. The rejection that once broke you now confirms your strength. The guilt trips that once worked now sound like empty noise. You've outgrown the bait. And when the bait doesn't work, the fisherman loses control of the hook. You are not the wounded one waiting for closure anymore. You are the closure. You are not the confused one waiting for answers. You are the answer. And their fake authority only ever worked when you doubted your own. Now you see it clearly. They were never in control. They were only ever pretending. And tonight, Chosen One, that curtain gets ripped down for good. Their games are exposed, their tricks are spent, their stage is empty, and what they're really facing now is the one thing they prayed would never arrive. You, awakened, untouchable, and no longer under their spell. Number 8. You will become the scripture they cannot decipher. The most unsettling truth for your enemies is realizing you are not a book they can skim. You are a code they were never built to understand. Chosen One, tonight you step into a level of power that cannot be Googled, debated, or watered down. You are not chasing attention. You are not striving to appear mysterious. You simply carry something they cannot translate. That is the kind of authority that comes when you evolve past surface-level consciousness. You're no longer an open diary. They can't flip your pages. You're the sacred text written in a language only the universe itself can read. Your silence will cut deeper than their loudest accusations. Imagine walking into a room where everyone is trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces. They bend, they twist, they argue over what fits, but nothing clicks. Then you arrive. Your very presence is the missing piece, and suddenly the puzzle isn't broken, they are. That's why people who encounter you will feel a strange pull. They won't understand it, but they'll feel it in their bones. Some will be drawn closer, desperate to figure you out. Others will recoil, mocking what they don't understand, because it's easier to laugh at mystery than to admit they're unprepared to face it. Confusion is their consequence, not your burden. They'll project their discomfort onto you. They'll call you difficult, unapproachable, too intense or too different. But the truth is, it isn't you. It's the gap between your awareness and theirs that makes them restless. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify your existence. You are no longer pleading to be seen by people who refuse to take the veil off their own eyes. Your truth is not up for debate. It simply is. Your life itself becomes the message. The way you walk into a space, the way you breathe, the way you carry silence, those will be sermons. You will disturb the shallow because your depth reveals their emptiness. And here's the twist. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. Some people were destined to be confused by you. That confusion is their spiritual verdict. So accept it, Chosen One. You are not here to be read like a paperback. You are here to be witnessed like a mystery, and when they finally realize they cannot decode you, cannot copy you, cannot reduce you, that's when the separation begins. The wheat from the weeds, the real from the fake, and all you had to do was exist. Number 9. You will become the breaker of bloodline chains. The deadliest rebellion isn't against strangers. It's against the lies your own blood called tradition. Chosen One, that is who you are becoming tonight. You were not born to carry the story your family rehearsed for generations. You were born to interrupt it, loudly, unapologetically, and with finality. The dysfunction they wrapped up as culture, the silence they called respect, the pain they baptized as love. It all ends with you. Not because you hate where you came from, but because you finally had the courage to ask what no one else would. Why do we keep repeating what's killing us? Truth doesn't come to preserve, it comes to disrupt. From childhood, you felt it, that sharp awareness when favoritism played out at the dinner table, that quiet rage when secrets sat in the air like smoke, but nobody dared speak them, that knot in your stomach when manipulation was dressed up as discipline. You knew, even as a kid, that something wasn't right, and because you noticed, they noticed you noticing. That's when they started labeling you the problem. But you were never the problem, you were the interruption. The first one to heal will always look like the villain to the unhealed. That's why your boundaries sound like disrespect to them. That's why your silence feels like betrayal. That's why your refusal to carry their emotional baggage is painted as bitterness. But don't be fooled, that isn't truth. That's programming. Programming that tells them to attack anything that threatens their illusion of family unity. Imagine a domino chain that's been falling for generations. Each piece knocks the next, over and over, no one questioning the pattern. Then suddenly, it stops. One piece refuses to fall. That's you. And the refusal isn't weakness. It's strength. Because your healing broke the rhythm. Your distance cracked the illusion. Your peace exposed what they've been calling normal for decades. And here's what makes you dangerous. You didn't have to fight them to undo the system. You simply refused to keep playing your assigned role. No more shrinking to keep the peace. No more performing to earn love. No more carrying wounds that were never yours to carry. You walked away and breathed, and that single breath became rebellion. Some will study you, not to learn, but to figure out how to drag you back. Some will fear you because your peace is proof the system was always sick. Others will deny, pretending nothing has changed. But everything has. Because you didn't just break a cycle, you shattered a legacy of survival disguised as love. And now, chosen one, you stand as living evidence that freedom was always possible, and it begins with you. Number 10. You will become a soul they can't afford anymore. The cruelest punishment isn't blocking someone, it's living at a value they can no longer afford to touch. Chosen one, tonight marks that shift. You no longer lower your frequency to be understood. You no longer dilute yourself so others can sip you comfortably. Not because you've grown arrogant, but because survival demanded it. You've stepped into a level of worth that cannot be bargained with. Your soul has become a luxury, not a convenience. And those who once wandered in and out of your energy without cost now find themselves shut out. Not because you slammed the door, but because they no longer carry the currency to enter. Healing doesn't make you unkind. It makes you too expensive for cheap energy. Think of all the years you bent yourself into shapes that weren't natural. You shrunk your presence so others wouldn't feel small. You over-explain yourself to ears that were never listening. You tolerated chaos because you thought peace meant keeping everyone else comfortable. But the truth is, that version of you is gone. Every wound you've healed has raised your price. Every scar you turned into wisdom has upped the value of your presence. And now, your silence speaks louder than their demands ever could. Imagine a priceless diamond sitting in a pawn shop, treated like a trinket, people haggling, pawing, devaluing. But the moment that diamond is placed in its true setting, under the right light, its worth is undeniable. No one dares touch it without paying the real cost. That's you, chosen one. You've left the pawn shop of people's convenience. Now your energy is showcased for what it always was, rare, sacred, untouchable. Your presence isn't free anymore. It costs honesty, it costs accountability, it costs growth. And the truth is, most people can't afford it. That's why you'll find yourself declining invitations without guilt, letting phones ring unanswered, walking away without a second thought. They'll gossip about how you've changed, and they'll be right. Because what they really miss isn't you, It's their old control over you. And let this be clear, family is no exception. Blood might connect bodies, but it doesn't buy spiritual access. If their presence brings chaos, confusion, or ego, they don't get a seat at your table. Titles don't grant clearance anymore. Only alignment does. Access to you was never a right. It was always a privilege, and that privilege has expired for those who refuse to evolve. You are not distant. You are divine. Your soul is now premium. Your energy is sacred. And tonight the universe locks in that truth. They can knock, they can beg, they can perform humility, but unless their spirit has leveled up, their access remains revoked. Number 11. You will become the reality they said could never exist. The cruelest revenge isn't shouting back. It's living as the proof of what they swore was impossible. Chosen one, that's exactly what you're stepping into tonight. They said you'd never get back up. They whispered you'd never recover, never rise, never matter without them. They smirked when you stumbled. They gossiped when you broke. They clinked glasses when they thought they had buried you for good. But what they didn't realize was this. You were never their victim. You were the seed buried in darkness, destined to break through the soil. And now you've become the one thing they claimed could never exist, the living contradiction to their entire story. They didn't just doubt you, they invested in your downfall. Your pain was their proof of superiority. Your struggle was their comfort. Every tear you shed fed their pride. But healing destroyed their investment. Healing rewrote the script. Now every breath you take in peace, every step you walk in strength, every word you speak in truth, dismantles their lies in real time. You were supposed to be finished. Instead, you've become the one headline they can't erase, the rise they swore would never come. Imagine this, a building they set on fire, convinced nothing would remain but ash. But when the smoke cleared instead of ruins, a stronger structure stood, fireproof, unshakable, radiant. That's you. The scars they mocked are now etched with wisdom. The trauma they weaponized became your training ground. The brokenness they tried to chain you with has turned into technology for your soul. Each wound sharpened into survival. Each setback carved into strategy. The glow they called arrogance is simply accuracy. Your presence offends them, not because it's loud, but because it's undeniable. They said you were too broken. Your joy now makes them choke. They said you were too poor. Your blessings now come with receipts. They said you were too damaged, yet you've become the safest presence in the room. Every label they threw at you, you turned into armor. Every lie they told, you turned into fuel. Every attempt to bury you only deepened your roots. And now, chosen one, your life itself has become their judgment. You don't just survive, you radiate. You don't just rise, you rise in full view of the ones who bet against you. Every time you smile, thrive, and walk in peace, it's a cosmic slap in the face to every curse they ever whispered. What they thought would destroy you became the very thing that revealed you. You are no longer a comeback story. You are the proof. You are the rebellion. You are the miracle they can't explain. You are the truth they prayed would never be proven. Too late. Tonight, you already are it. Number 12. You will become the exam they cannot pass. The harshest test isn't written on paper. It's standing in front of someone who exposes every lie they've been hiding. Chosen one, that's what you're stepping into tonight. You're no longer just walking through life. You're walking through people's disguises. You've become the mirror they can't dodge, the proof they can't deny, and the exam they never prepared for. Your presence alone now divides the genuine from the jealous, the loyal from the fraudulent. And here's the sting. You won't even have to try. Elevation reveals loyalty faster than betrayal ever could. The moment you level up, their reactions start writing their own report cards. Some will cheer louder than ever because they were always for you. Others will shrink back in silence, their fake smiles cracking under the pressure of your growth. A few will even attempt sabotage, not because you wronged them, but because your glow reminds them of everything they refuse to become. Your peace, your confidence, your radiance, it all becomes a trigger. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You didn't set out to test them, but your presence is now the test. Imagine this, a piece of litmus paper dipped into a solution. Instantly the color changes, revealing what was hidden all along. That's you now. You are the spiritual litmus test. Walk into a room and watch. Who celebrates, who gossips, who imitates, who complicates. Their reactions reveal them before their words ever can. And no matter how they spin it, the truth is this. The next level you're stepping into cannot afford counterfeit support. Your rise is their reveal. They thought they could hide behind surface loyalty, but jealousy always leaks through. They thought they could mask bitterness with politeness, but your glow makes their envy boil over. You won't even need to overanalyze anymore. Their energy tells on them. Your transformation demands honesty, and that demand will break most of them. So step boldly, chosen one. Speak freely, shine fully. Your success is sacred, and it comes with an assignment to separate the real from the fake, not out of pride, but out of purpose. You are now the filter, the test, the exam they didn't study for and cannot cheat their way through. And when the results show, many will fail with flying colors.